Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Dager, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is Alan Bustamante. Alan is the founder of Xcelerate Partners in Cincinnati, Ohio, and has been helping organizations adopt value-driven and innovative software development practices through his work as a trainer and a coach. Now, you just ventured out on your own a few years back. Can you kind of give me the elevator speech on Xcelerate Partners?
So I always find it challenging when people ask me about that because I see a lot of great things happening right now, and what I really like to tell people is that we're about helping organizations build better products and doing that through making good teams, good software teams, better software development teams. And I would say that's probably the best way to describe it. I'm working with a client right now that's got many teams that we're helping along the Agile path, and they're all great people, or they're all very good software developers. But the value add that we're providing is helping them bring better organization and better value so that they can serve their customers, not only external but internal customers as well, in a better way.
What prompted you to venture out? Was there like a life-changing event or anything, or was it just time?
I would say I wouldn't say a life-changing event as much as it was my wife, who I love near and dear, and we are celebrating our 5th anniversary today, which is an exciting time for both of us. So I have to say she's been my biggest champion in this, and she's in the last few years she's really seen the need for the services that I've been providing. So on the training, but also on the coaching level. Shortly after we moved here, I joined a small software company, and I had just left there, and she just asked me one day, you have all these people asking for your skill set. Why don't you look at going on your own and trying that out and see how it works for you? And I did that, and that was at the end of 2012, and I haven't looked back. It's been a great experience, and I got to say, every year has been a better year. So I can't expect that, of course, every year, but since the inception of Xcelerate Partners, it's been good, very good. So I have to really just recognize that my wife, has been my biggest champion, and she's really the reason why Xcelerate Partners is here today. So
That's pretty exciting. That's neat to
yeah.
hear. Well, Al, I assume that most of your work has been with, let's say, agile software developers, and what are some of the key areas that you help with?
So I don't actually write the code anymore. I'm more on the process side. And I find where I'm most effective is really helping organizations trim the waste. So you're a lean guy, you understand, the 7 wastes and all that. And, those might be things like, a waste might be excessively long meetings or developing chunks of work in large batches. So that's really the value add, is where I come in and help them find ways to reduce batch size, so to be more tangible about it. Instead of delivering an increment of software in, let's say, 6 months or a year, they're doing it in as short a time as 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. That's one of the big things. And then also teaching effective communication skills and facilitation skills, helping them to develop that continuous improvement mindset.
Have you found it takes an outside person looking in to be able to do that, or do you have to kind of quickly become part of the team and a facilitator, as a team member? I mean, how does that work a little bit?
I think that's the value for having someone from the outside coming in is, these are people who they're not ingrained into the day-to-day political structure, organizational structure of the business. And so someone with my background can come in, and I've worked with, well, you said in the intro, right, in the last 14 years or so, I've worked in many organizations, both as an employee and as a consultant in many different industries. And so I can bring that experience in and take a look at processes and kind of see where the gaps are and help them be more effective. A lot of companies think that they're so complex, right? They have, well, we're too complex. Well, I see my job as helping them reduce complexity. I don't think, no matter where you go, software development is software development. Certainly, there are unique circumstances, and when a company's smaller versus a larger organization and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, we're still writing code and we're still pushing that out to some customer, whether it's an internal or external customer. And so that's what I like to do, is to really come in and help these organizations simplify their mode operations. And it helps to be an external partner in that, because if I'm internal, then and I've seen this before, and part of what I help organizations do is transition a lot of the work that I'm doing today to internal people. But it's always good to have that external eye, because then they're not involved in the structure. I don't have to worry about reporting into someone who is gonna my bonuses or my raise is going to be affected by a decision I make or a recommendation that I make. So I'm totally disconnected from that, and I think that's really the power of having someone who's external to the organization come in and help the organization through these changes. And one of the things that I always like to ask organizations is, when they say they want to go through an agile adoption or transformation or whatever you want to call it, they want to become more agile or develop more agility. Why? Why do they want to do that? Because it's, especially for larger organizations, it's a big change. It takes a big responsibility to do that, and it does require money, obviously, because more often than not, you need to bring in external consultants to help the organization through that change.
I thought all software teams are agile now, so some are still not. What are the ones that aren't?
You would think that, right? So I've talked to a lot of people coming out of college that are coming into these organizations, and to them, they're learning this stuff. It's like, this is stuff that they're learning in school. We were joking the other day about how some of the other professionals that I work with in my business, we were talking about next, I don't know, 10 years, we'll probably all be out of jobs, or hopefully at least the smarter of us will probably be on to the next thing, whatever that is. But a lot of these kids coming out of college now, they're coming with that mindset. Like, they're telling us, oh yeah, we've already learned about Scrum or Kanban or all this other stuff. But there's still a big base of people who have not gone through this, any kind of training or adoption or coaching. A lot of organizations that have not. And often what I find is that organizations, they may send someone to a class, or maybe a team to a class, but then when those people get all jazzed up about agility, and then they come back to the organization and they hit the politics or the organizational structure that slaps them back down. And so they kind of adopt a few things, like maybe they adopt I don't know, a daily scrum or a stand-up that's 15 minutes, but they're not really living the values and the principles of agility. It's some of the things that we talked about earlier, right? Like continuous improvement, and building a close relationship with the customer, those kinds of things. So a long way to go, I think. It's sort of this false sense of agility that companies will have. They think they want to boil it down to a process, and we'll just pick up the process and we'll be agile. But then when they dig deep into it and they find out that things aren't changing, and then they bring someone in like myself to look at what they're doing, and we go, well, I might say, well, yeah, okay, so you're doing a 15-minute stand-up or something, but really you're not living those values of that open dialogue, the communication, the continuous improvement, building a trustful and transparent environment. We want people to be able to bring issues to the forefront. Just like in Lean, right? The pull the line or pull the cord scenario where anyone can stop the line in order to fix an issue. We want that, and many of the large organizations that I've been in, of course, that hasn't been the mindset. It's been more of a shoot the messenger type mindset. So I think there's a lot of work to do there. There's a saying out there, agile in name only, but so a lot of organizations that have not started down the path, a lot of organizations that have started down the path but have this false sense of agility, and then there are obviously case studies out there, which I think has helped our progress in the agile industry. Companies that have been very successful. They're doing all the right things, not only on the technical side, but also on the people side. People, very very important component of agile adoption for sure.
What's the best way for someone to contact you and learn more about Alan?
Well, you can catch me on the web. So my company is Xcelerate Partners, but that's with an X. So it's X as in Xavier, CELERATE partners.com. Or you could go to increaseagility.com, and that would take you to my company's website. And then you can also reach me via email by my first name, Alan, ALAN, at xceleratepartners.com.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for listening. This podcast will be available on the Business 901 iTunes Store and the Business 901 website. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Joe.